What's up everybody, my name's Strike Dragon, and today we're going to start off my first series called Welcome to Warframe. So the first thing that I want to do is go over just a few beginner tips in the very beginning of this series that'll just help you start your Warframe adventure off on the right foot. So the first thing that we're going to look at is weapon choice. In the very beginning you get the choice between 2 primaries, 2 secondaries, and 2 melee weapons. What I would recommend for a brand new player to choose as their primary would be the MK1 Bratton. Your other choice is the MK1 Paris. Now if you go into your arsenal afterwards and you go to the market here, you scroll down, or you can simply type MK. It gives you the list of all the MK1 weapons that are purchasable for as your primary weapon. So no need to worry, if you want to use the Paris later, you will be able to do that simply by coming into the market and purchasing it outright with credits. You do not purchase the MK1 blueprints like you would a normal weapon. So if you go here and you look at the Paris, you say, okay, I want to use the Paris. Look at all those green stats compared. You purchase it. So as you can see, I've already mastered this weapon, obviously. This is going to be one of your goals in Warframe, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So if you scroll down here and you hit purchase MK1 Paris for 15k credits. Credits are earned just by playing the game. You get them for completing missions, you get them from alerts. You'll accumulate these simply by playing, so no need to worry. We're not going to do that right now, though. So, for your secondary, I recommend the Lado. Your choices would be either the Lado, which is not an MK1 weapon, funny enough, or the MK1 Kunai. The Furus you get a little bit later on. We'll talk about that in a second. So as your melee weapon, I would recommend getting the Skana. I did not, because I did not realize that the Skana cannot be purchased with credits like the rest of the beginner weapons. So in the very beginning, you have the choice between the MK1 bow and the Skana. Now if we take a look at the Skana now, you go to purchase, you cannot actually buy this outright with credits. You actually have to purchase the blueprint. And the blueprint requirements for building this weapon include plastids, which can be pretty annoying to get in the very beginning of the game. So what I would recommend doing, so you can mastery rank up as fast as possible, is choosing the Skana in the very beginning, and then later on, purchasing the MK1 bow with credits outright. So let's go over the Warframes really quickly. As you can see here, I've chosen Mag. Mag was not my beginner Warframe, but you can farm and build the beginner Warframes later on in the game. Mag and Excalibur are easier to obtain, being they come from boss drops. However, Excalibur is also known as being the most beginner-friendly, well-rounded frame of choice. But if you want quick progression and an easier path, I would recommend choosing Volt, as the way to get Volt afterwards is only through clan research. And if you join a clan that has not researched Volt yet, it'll take you a little bit longer. Not to mention, if you have to help contribute to it, it might get a little costly for the beginning of your adventure. But if you're okay with that, definitely choose Excalibur. Excalibur will make quick work of the junctions with his Radio Blind, and overall gives you a nice rounded frame to work with in the very beginning before you know what you want to do. So now let's take a look at what your beginning missions might look like. So now that we're inside the mission, you can take a quick look at the top left, right underneath your mini-map, and you can tell what you need to do and how many of those objectives you need to do to satisfy the mission. So for us this time, it's an exterminate mission. Very straightforward, very simple. All you have to do is kill 34 enemies. We'll talk a little bit more about the different mission types later on. This is why I chose the Bratton over the Paris, as it's a lot easier to adapt yourself to than a bow. While the bow is very fun, and I definitely recommend testing it out a little bit later on when you're familiar with the game, it's easier to get overrun with the bow as you only shoot one arrow at a time. So one thing I do want to mention, and I do want to bring up, you need to collect everything in the very beginning of your adventure. This right here is a great way to do that. Break open every container you can. As you see, we got 49 credits and some ammo dropped out of these containers. Not too bad. Items also drop from enemies. So we got 150 enemies, or 150 credits that dropped out of that enemy after we killed him. 140 credits. We open this up, more credits. So we're not really getting material drops just yet. I want to show you what that looks like. There we go. We got 2 nav coordinates. While not very important in the beginning of the game, they will be very useful later on. One thing I do want to note in the very beginning of your adventure, you will have to walk over the items and all of the resources that drop manually. You have to walk directly over them in order to pick them up. Later on in your adventure, you'll get this little guy floating above my head known as a carrier. When you get a carrier, you'll be able to put a mod on it called Vacuum, and it will be able to suck up things around you on the ground, such as ammunition and resources, without you having to actually walk over them. As you can see right there, I just picked up 118 Furite from all the way over here, thanks to Vacuum. A very useful thing that you'll get very early on. I believe you get your Taxon Blueprint, which is a Sentinel that you can put Vacuum on from your first junction. So one thing you also want to look out for when picking up materials are things like Iaton treasures or Iaton stars. They give you Endo, which is used to upgrade your mods later on. The thing about Iaton treasures and Iaton stars is you actually have to walk over them or walk up to them and click X. Now, while Iaton stars, when they come out of a container or a locker like this, they will glow, make a sound, and mark on your minimap. Iaton treasures, on the other hand, are almost like hidden, and you actually have to look and find them. As you can see right here, we were lucky enough to get one during this recording. That's right here. You hit X, and you pick it up. When you complete the mission, you get it. If you abandon your mission, you lose it. So we won't go too in-depth on anything like abilities or movement or anything like that just yet. This is supposed to be just a broad, open introduction to Warframe and some of the tips that'll make it a little bit smoother for you when starting your adventure. So once you complete the requirements for the mission, it'll turn green in the top left, and you also have a HUD and minimap marker showing you exactly where to go so you can extract and end the mission. So now that we've extracted, we've ended the mission, and you get to look at all of the progress you've made during this mission, such as all of the XP you've earned towards each of your weapons. Right here would be the XP towards the Warframe. My mag is actually max ranked right now. Same thing for your carrier when you have your carrier. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to see all of the item rewards that you have obtained throughout the mission. So there's our Iaton sculpture here, along with some Rubidoux, some Furite, some Detonite ampules, nav coordinates, and of course how many credits we got, including the credits you get for completing the mission. And then over here you get to see what mods you got throughout the mission. Sawtooth Clip, a slash damage mod for your rifle. Very important that you make sure you upgrade your weapons frequently. And we'll cover that in just a second. So now that we're back over here and we can look at the weapons and we can look at the mods that we just got. If you go over to upgrade, so we're going to look at the rifle now. If you go over to upgrade, I have 0 mods currently. This is my base mod capacity due to my my overall mastery rank in the game. So your mod capacity should be around 10, I believe is what it's going to start out as. So the first thing you want to do, you're not going to have as many mods as I do currently, but we know we got Sawtooth Clip. And Sawtooth Clip is going to add 5% slash damage to our rifle. So if we look at the slash damage, we have 9.0 slash damage on this weapon when it procs. We drag the mod over, now it's 9.2. While that doesn't seem like a lot, every mod counts. You can see in the top right of the mod, the polarization and the drain on your capacity. We'll get into polarization and capacities a little bit later on. Just know that the 4 here is going to subtract 4 from your overall capacity. As you rank up your weapons, you'll get more and more capacity, so you'll be able to put stronger mods on and upgrade them later down the road. We'll cover upgrading your mods a little bit later on in the series. So now that you have your weapon choices, now that you have your Warframe choice, you've done a mission, you've collected all of the resources that you can possibly collect during that mission, what are some of the other things that you should be concerned with? Your first objective in Warframe, in my opinion, should be your Venus Junction. It's very straightforward. Up above, the rewards that are cycling through are your conditions. So complete the Vor's Prize quest. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Collect 20 mods. Apply 4 mods to a single Warframer weapon. Might take you a little bit longer. Upgrade any mod to rank 2 or higher. I'll show that in just a moment. And then defeat 3 Eximus enemies on Earth. In order to try to speed that process along, what you can do is before you go into a mission, if you go up here in the top left, while you're in your navigation pane, you can choose public, which will allow you to play with other players sometimes around your master rank and your level, and then sometimes you'll get veterans that are coming in and that want to farm those low level content for whatever reason they have, and you can actually get a lot of help that way. For now, we're going to keep it on solo, and that way I can do everything for example purposes. So we're going to go ahead and try to complete this list really quickly. So Vor's Prize should be very straightforward. Your quests are right here. You'll have Vor's Prize. All you have to do is click on it. It'll become active, like this. It should be your only active quest, but if it's not, you can click on it, activate it, and it'll lead you to where you need to go. And when you look at Earth, one of these will be marked with this icon here, and it'll tell you it's part of the quest. When you click on it, you get a choice just like you do with this Nightmare mission. You get a choice to do the regular mission node, which is an interception facing the Grineer, or it'll say something like the Vor's Quest mission, and then it'll, tell you the information you want here. You always want to choose the one related to the quest that you're on. Never do the regular one because it's not going to satisfy the quest conditions. Collect 20 mods. You'll do that just by doing the missions. Very simple, very straightforward. Apply 4 mods to a single warframe or weapon. When you complete missions, when you kill things, when other people kill things around you, you're going to gain affinity towards your weapons, towards your warframe, which opens up more capacity. My suggestion to complete this quicker is to just put on the lowest capacity mods you can in order to satisfy this condition as quickly as possible, and then change out those mods for something actually effective. So now we're going to look at upgrading a mod to rank 2 or higher through the fusion process. So we'll go ahead and quickly explain this. So if you come down from your navigation pane, you turn left, the first node right here is going to be mods. Pretty simple. Hit X. Yours won't look like this. But if we scroll down, actually, we'll just look for that sawtooth that we got earlier, actually. We know we have a sawtooth, okay? So if you click on the mod that you want to do something with, it'll mark it there. You'll come up to the fusion. Now, when you hit the plus icon, in the top left, it'll tell you what the drain will change to. So it'll no longer be 4 on your capacity, it'll be 5. It'll tell you what the mod will now do. So it'll give you 10% slash damage instead of 5. And if you look on the right-hand side, it'll tell you the overall fusion cost. You'll see your endo here, and endo can only be used to upgrade mods, so don't be afraid to spend it. And then down below that will be the credit cost. Not too bad. Up top, you'll see your total credits, and then right below that, inside the mod UI, you'll see your total endo. So you can apply the fusion. So I have this currently attached to one of my weapons, and it's telling me now that if I upgrade this mod, it will exceed the capacity of my weapon. Now, if I do this, it means it won't fit on the weapon any longer, so it will actually be taken off the weapon. So we'll uninstall it, and then we'll upgrade it. You see now you have this little dot underneath the weapon name there that's filled in. It's glowing now. That means it's a rank 1. So, back to our junction. We've now upgraded a mod. We've applied 4 mods to a single warframe, collected 20 mods assumably, and completed the quest. Now defeating 3 Eximuses on Earth. I prefer to do this in one of the dark sectors. Now, you will have to quest through and unlock things in order to reach these nodes over here. Or if you have a friend that plays Warframe, or anybody in the global chat or the regional chat, you might be able to find someone to taxi you there. My personal preference is just to play through, and you'll eventually kill them. Make sure you play on open so you get that extra help from some of the other members of the community. So once you do that, you're going to go to the junction. So now we're going to look at what a junction fight might look like. So when you arrive at the junction, you're safe behind this force field until you hit Confront Spectre with the X key. Now we are playing on PC, so everything's going to be correlated to the PC buttons. So if you look on the right hand side, it's going to rotate through the rewards, which you could have looked at on the navigation pane as well, but you're going to get 2,500 credits as a reward, a Furious Blueprint, which you have to be Master Rank 2 to build, a melee mod, not bad, another rifle mod, which is going to be useful for you, and then your Taxxon Blueprint, which is the #1 priority in the beginning, and then a little bit of salvage. As soon as you hit X and bring down this force field, you will confront the Rhino Spectre over there. Now, for whichever frame you chose, there are different strategies to employ to make this a lot easier. If you chose Excalibur, all you would really need to do is radial blind the Spectre and then melee him, and you'll pretty much immediately assassinate him and kill him. Now, if you chose Mag, all you have to do is put your bubble around him and shoot it. Not too bad. Now, when you complete this for the first time, you will kneel over there and activate the solar rail to connect the junction right here. Since I've already completed this junction, it's having me just go back. So this has been just a couple of tips to maybe make your Warframe adventure a little smoother in the very beginning. Now, this is only the beginning of a series that I'm going to call Welcome to Warframe. So in our next one, we'll be going over a couple of different very basic things that maybe weren't explained very well in either the tutorial, or you can't find another source of information to get what you are looking for out of it. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below, or if you'd like to interact with me a little more directly, you can visit my Twitch channel. I'm almost always playing Warframe these days, and I would be more than happy to lend a hand. But until then, this is Strike Dragon, and I'll see you in the next one.